Hey guys, Cory here. Today for my informative speech, I'm going to be talking about blacksmithing. I'm going to let you guys know who blacksmiths, both traditionally and modern day, why people blacksmith, again traditionally and modern day, and I'll also touch on a brief history and some interesting facts about blacksmithing. Now, traditionally, it was men who would blacksmith. But like everything else, we figured out that women can do stuff too. So both men, women, and actually even children are blacksmithing current day. But it's not for everyone because blacksmithing is a very hot, dirty, and very physically demanding hobby or job, depending on how you get into it. Um, but blacksmithing is a very rewarding hobby because you can take a hunk of metal and turn it into whatever you want with the proper tool and skills. Um, Modern day blacksmiths are still just as important as traditional blacksmiths because modern day blacksmiths are still needed to prototype stuff that you can't just hammer out on machines. And very intricate metalwork needs to be done by hand still. You can't have machines do everything. Even modern day horses, the horseshoes still need to be made by hand because every hoof is different. So, the blacksmith has to measure and then completely custom make and then hammer in the shoe for every horse, even each individual hoof on the horse, because they're all different sizes, they all wear differently, and they need to be made out of different materials for whether they're racing or they're field horses or whatever they are. Um, Back in the day, like medieval times and stuff, blacksmiths would they were responsible for armor, they were responsible for weaponry, they were responsible for just tools, basic tools um, that everybody used for everything. If somebody on a farm needed a plow, they would go to the blacksmith and say, hey, I need a plow, it needs to be this big, this heavy, whatever, cut this deep into the ground. And the blacksmith would be able to make it for them. Um, Now, especially with like jousting and stuff, you want the best armor you can get. You're having a dude come at you with a 10-foot pole, he's trying to plunge it into your chest. And, so you need somebody that can make really good armor for you. So the better the blacksmith you were, the more jobs you would get. And this was very obvious because if one of those big giant 10-foot spikes went through the guy's chest, you didn't do your job right and you wouldn't have a job after that. So, that was a big no-no. But even still, modern day blacksmiths, they'll still make like armor and stuff for Renaissance fairs, or even like decorative metal pieces for houses, um, and even blacksmiths at home. You can make picture frames, you can make hooks, you can make door pulls, you can make knobs for your cabinets. You can make all sorts of artwork, and the best part of that is you never really mess up when you're blacksmithing. Um, it just goes in a different direction. So you may be working on something for hours and hours and hours, and all of a sudden you hit your piece just a little bit too hard, and now there's a giant dent in it. Well, you can take that and then you can dent the entire piece so that way it looks more rustic. So there's no mistakes, there's only different directions in blacksmithing. For modern day blacksmithing, Obviously the armor thing before, that's a mistake. You don't want to do that. It's bad. Um, Now a little bit of history. Uh, well, we went over like the armor and stuff, but the blacksmith shop, when it shut down, most of the time, whatever village they were in, the bakers would actually go to the blacksmith shop and grab all his coals that he used because they'd still be hot. And they'd rush them over to the bakery and they would bake all the bread like overnight because the coals would still be hot and they didn't have to spend money on it because he wasn't using them anymore. It's nighttime. Um, and In smaller towns where they didn't have bakeries, they would actually set up like a bread box next to it. So when he set his fires and he was pounding away on the metal, um, it would bake the bread as he was working, which is pretty cool. Um, Mother Earth News actually quoted saying much of the art of blacksmithing is trial and error. It's just as much feel as it is knowledge. Um, and The Art of Manliness website actually said that you only need 4 basic things to start blacksmithing, which is fantastic. You need something to heat your work, set it on fire, or not set it on fire, but put it in a fire, which is the forge. You need something to hold the work, which is like tongs and gloves and stuff like that. You need something to put under your work, which would of course be your anvil, and you need something that applies force to your work, which would be your good old trusty hammer. And according to Craft Central, good steel to work with for tools and whatever is between 0.25% and 2% carbon content. Um, and I think that's about it. So thank you for watching my video, and I hope you learned a little something.